All right, let's talk about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy and the 49ers, yet another victory here, going up to 8-3 and really kind of blowing out the Seattle Seahawks in a big win, right? Because as high as we are on the Niners right now and as low as we kind of were on the Seahawks entering that game, if Seattle won, they would have taken first place in the division, but not happening. 49ers win. Let's talk about how they won and what went so well for their offense in general. I feel like every Brock Purdy video, I end up at least showing a play about Christian McCaffrey because, come on, it's fun. You see some of the blocking concept on the screen. The kind of one key thing to note as well is they're going to have a player go in motion towards the bottom of the screen to hopefully take a Seattle defender in that area as well. You're going to really just essentially going to be running it up the middle. Not exactly. I guess the main way I should phrase it is McCaffrey's going to essentially run it straight forward as the offensive line is blocking towards their left. Watch as Purdy takes a snap, gets the ball to McCaffrey, and look at how well blocked this is. I mean, there's a huge gap, and that's one of the things that really is impressive, and you have to think a good chunk of it is play calling. It is surprising Seattle defenders, not having them realize which play is coming at which moment. We always kind of talk about it in the other way, about how a passing play can get set up due to, you run the ball and then call up like a play action in a good spot. It can work the other way too, right? Just calling a running play in the good spot can kind of fool Seattle players, get you to a gap like this, and also the players have to make their blocks, which they're doing here. As you see, McCaffrey shoots through that gap. But then here's what's crazy too, is you see him just start to shift towards the bottom of the screen. His ability to move at a top speed is so key. I mean, one of the things that we talked about when he got to San Francisco was, hey, yes, you can talk about how running backs don't matter, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, San Francisco is going to get you to the second level a good amount of times, right? That's what they're going to do. They're going to scheme it open. They're going to block it in a way where you can get to the next level. And having a running back who can just make safeties miss could be really valuable in this offense. As you see, he does make the safety miss, still gets brought down not too long after. Sometimes those result in touchdowns, but he still, the Niners ended up getting a touchdown on this drive here, so worked out, and a big part of it was because of that big play. And when you can get those explosive running plays, it just makes your offense work that much better. Because, of course, then we can do play action, and listen, there's a lot of debates as to whether or not having a good running game actually helps out with play action or not. But the reality is, when your running game is working and your play action game is working, who cares why it's working? It's working. What you see here is it's a zone coverage play, and you're going to run the play action to get Seattle players who are over the middle to move further in. You're then also having a receiver run a deep route to try and push the corner and safety further deep as well. Deebo Samuel is going to be the guy running the over-the-middle route on this play. Okay, let's see how this works. So, Purdy takes a snap, he runs the play action, he's going to look over the middle, fires over the middle, and you see Deebo Samuel is wide open over the middle. These are the types of plays that I feel like some people think Purdy is playing, every game, right? Like these are the types of plays Brock Purdy haters will point towards and say, oh, well, just threw to a wide open receiver. You know what? Hey, yes, that was his first read, and it was a wide open receiver. If you're a San Francisco fan, it's once again one of those things. Who cares why it's working? Okay, the quarterback doesn't have to make that difficult of a throw. That's a good thing. That's what you want to have happen. There's just such a well-oiled machine the Niners offense is. And going over here, I do want to give some credit to Purdy. He is capable of making good throws, and just, the simple stuff he does incredibly well. This play, again, it's his first read on this play. It's going to be Brandon Ayuk running a route over the middle. Watch as Purdy takes a snap. He runs a play action. And at this point, there's a window to make this throw, right? There absolutely is. Purdy is going to time this one beautifully, and they pick up a chunk play. Again, another 15-plus yard gain. If you can get these easy 15-yard gains, it's just going to do so much for your offense. And while, again, you could sit here and say, well, not the most difficult throw, at the end of the day, you still have to time it well. You still have to get the ball out of your hands quickly. For a young player to be able to do this, it is impressive. It is. And also something like this, it's one of those funny things where people always talk about the Niners in structure, and structure is a big part of what they talk about here. You have to have, they run the ball, they get these play actions. That's kind of how we view them. But we've seen teams kind of try and play this cover one man a little bit, and it's like always gone terrible. I mean, you saw George Kittle with a big touchdown 2 games ago against Jacksonville. You then saw Brandon Ayuk, a big touchdown against Tampa Bay last week. And this isn't a big touchdown, but it's still a good play. It's George Kittle one-on-one on the outside on a 3rd down and 9. And watch as when this play begins, Purdy takes the snap, he fires, and right here you see Kittle is just getting a window. This isn't a wide open window, right? The other ones were kind of, it felt like there was no one within 10 yards, so maybe there still is some logic in man coverage just because you can at least get a defender into area, but it doesn't matter. Purdy gets the ball to Kittle. Purdy's numbers against like the blitz versus not blitzed and things like that tend to be pretty similar. He's pretty much just good at football. The 49ers are just good at, whatever coverage you want to throw at them, they have an answer for it, which is a part of what makes it so difficult. Now, heading over here, because again, the defense was incredible here for the San Francisco 49ers. Their offense, obviously was great. Defense was also great. Part of what makes the Niners so amazing is how good, both are. The Seahawks only ended up with 6 offensive points. They had 7 defensive points. Let's talk about the pick 6, which was, never want to throw a pick 6, right? Never good. Well, here's what happened. So it's going to be zone coverage. You have a receiver running underneath here. It's going to be Christian McCaffrey who's running a route. That's going to just try and get underneath, hopefully, gain some yards here. The situation is obviously worth talking about as it's a 2nd down and 10 in this spot and you're at your own 4-yard line. So, gaining 3 or 4 yards does a lot. For one thing, if you have to punt, you're not punting out of the back of your end zone. You have a little bit more room. But obviously, hey, getting the ball in Christian McCaffrey's hands underneath, there's potential of a 1st down just because he is that good. Right when this play begins, you see that Purdy isn't really that pressured a little bit for sure. So maybe that factored in, I don't know. But you see, again, not that difficult of a throw to make, I would say. It's not going to get you a ton of yards as it turned out. There's a couple of Seattle defenders paying attention to McCaffrey, probably only going to get you about 3 yards, but still, 3rd and 7, that's okay. Instead, this is a high throw. It gets batted up and intercepted, but I also have to say, if it wasn't batted up, I still think that's probably intercepted. So, while, yes, there is an element of bad luck there, I don't know if that's, entirely what happened. It wasn't just like a complete fluky interception. Like, to me, I think it's still fine to charge him with a turnover-worthy play on that play. I do. So, that was unfortunate, but again, one bad play does not negate the plenty of good ones. Was this Purdy's, I think, most dominant day? I don't think so. I really don't. And guess what? They won 31-13. So that's pretty good, in my opinion, when your quarterback has an okay day by their standards and you're completely blowing the brakes off of the team you're playing and you threw a pick 6 in the game. That's actually kind of crazy that they were able to win by that much. So because of that, again, we all know it, but it's true. 49ers, but they're a contender. They're one of the 4 or 5 teams that you feel like, yes, they absolutely can win the Super Bowl because they absolutely can win the Super Bowl. And, the offense really playing at a high level right now. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.